All right, let's continue on with our practice test. We left it at problem number 6. And let me get to the right page here. Problem number 6 for the practice test is one more page. Here we go. Problem number 6 is 3 over 5m, that whole thing squared. Okay, well this one, I'm just going to write it out a little bit so you can see it. 3/5 squared times m squared, and that gives us 9 over 25 m squared. Let's try number 7. Number 7, we got negative 3a raised to the 4th power times a to the 5th b raised to the 2nd power. Okay, I'm going to draw this one out a little bit. I'm going to make it to be negative 3 raised to the 4th power times a raised to the 4th power. Okay, and then a to the 5th squared and b squared. So negative 3 times negative 3 times negative 3 times negative 3 gives us a positive. So 3 times 3 is 9, times 3 is 27, times 3 is 81. So this is 81. A to the 4th. A to the 5th raised to the 2nd that power is a to the 10th. And b squared. I now know I can add these two exponents. And so my final answer is 81 a to the 14th b squared. Number 8. Number 8. It is negative 5a squared times negative 6b cubed squared. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is the second equation here. Let's just write it all out again. Negative 5 squared a squared, negative 6 squared b cubed squared. So now I've split it out into all its parts. Negative 5 squared is positive 25. A squared is a squared. Negative 6 squared is 36. And b cubed squared is b to the 6th. So now I can multiply 25 and 36 times each other. And 25 times 36. Oh, I wrote the problem down wrong. Did you see my mistake? Right here. This is why you show your work. You can see your mistake. If we look over here, the negative 5a squared, the square is not on the outside the parentheses, so I don't need to square negative 5. So this should look like that, and that should just be a negative 5. So now I've got a negative 5 times 36, which is a negative 180. Okay, a squared, b to the 6th. And that is the correct final answer. Now let's try number 9. We've got m n to the 4th all over m to the 3rd n squared. Okay, so when I do this, I'm going to look at it with the m's by themselves and multiply it times the n's by themselves. N squared. And this first one, m over m, I can subtract the exponent, so I get m to the negative 2, which leaves it on the bottom of my fraction, m squared, on the bottom, because it's to the negative 2. And 4 minus 2 is positive 2, so n gets to be on the top. And there's my final answer. All right. Now let's try number 10. Number 10, 9a squared bc squared all over 63 a to the 4th bc. Okay, well, I can say 9 over 63 first. Oops, if I can write it correctly. 9 over 63. I'm going to put all the a terms together. A squared over a to the 4th. Then the b's go together. B over b. And the c's go together. C squared over c. Alright, 9 over 63 is actually just 7. Excuse me, 1/7. 1/7. A squared over a to the 4th gives me a to the -2, which puts it on the bottom. So that's 1 over a squared. Let's write these in parentheses. B over b is just 1. And c squared minus over c is c over 1. So you multiply those all out, you get 1 times 1 times 1 times c, so we get c on the top of our fraction, and on the bottom we have 7a squared. And that is our answer, c over 7a squared. Now let's try number 11. 48 a squared b c to the 5th divided by 3ab cubed c squared, the whole thing squared. Alright, first thing I'm going to do is get rid of the power of the power on the bottom on my fraction. So that's going to leave me with the same thing on the top. Okay, that's on the bottom. This square makes the 3 into a 9. This square makes a to the 1st into a squared. This square makes b to the 3rd into b to the 6th. This square makes c squared into c to the 4th. Okay, now I can look at my different parts. 48 over 9, I can divide both by 3. If I divide both by 3, I get 16 over 3. Okay. A squared over a squared is 1, so they cancel each other out. B and b to 6, I'll have a b to the 5th left on the bottom side. And I'll have a c on the top. And that is my answer, even though I wrote it a little bit with too large of a fraction line there. 16c over 3b to the 5th. Number 12. Express each number in scientific notation. So here's my number. So first thing I do is I count my decimal places. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I've got a factor of 4.63. Okay. And I move the decimal place to the left. So my exponent is positive. And I count it again. 1, 2, 3, 4. 10 to the 4th. 13. My number is 0.003892. My factor will need the decimal place right there. So 3.892. And I move the decimal place 1, 2, 3 to the left. So it's 10 to the -3. 14. 284 times 10 to the 3rd. Well, I write the 284. and the decimal place is right as it needs to move over, right? I don't have a good factor, so I need to move the decimal place over 1, 2 to get 2.84. Once I move that over, 2.84, I moved it to the left twice, so that's times 10 squared. Now I have to finish up the times 10 cubed, and so my final answer is 2.84 times 10 to the 5th. $15, 52.8 times 10 to the negative 9. That's supposed to be a 9. Alright, well, once again, my factor is not correct, so I'm going to get my factor correct first. 5.28, and I moved 1 to the left, so that's times 10 to the negative 1. And then I got to finish up what I had before, times 10 to the negative 9, adding exponents, 5.28 times 10 to the negative 10. And I did that one wrong also. If I look at it closely, I see that since I moved left, I should have a positive exponent here. And then when I add them together, this is negative 8. Okay, got going too fast, but that's why you show your work, so you can correct things. Alright. 15. Let's try number 16. Number 16. They're multiplying two terms here. 3 times 10 to the 3rd times 2 times 10 to the 4th. Remember, when you're doing these, you can say 3 times 2 times 10 to the 3rd times 10 to the 4th. 3 times 2 is 6 times 10 to the 7th when I add the exponents. And that's that answer. If they wanted you to write that in standard form, you move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and write it with commas. There you go, 60 million.